The historic city of Warwick was the backdrop to the penultimate stage of this year's OVO Energy Tour of Britain. 188.7 kilometres from Warwick to the hilltop finish in Burton Dassett. Matthew van der Poel taking a 6-second advantage into the stage of Matteo Trentin and 24 over Pavel Sivakov. But with the first intermediate sprint of the day coming at just 19 kilometres into the stage, it was a frantic start as no breakaways managed to get clear. It was clear that the Mitchelton Scott team were trying to keep things together for the Matteo Trentin. Dylan van Baarle went on the attack. Matthew van der Poel decided to go with him, but it was all together as they came into the sprint. It was a three-horse race between Van der Poel, Trentin and De Boost, but it was Matthew van der Poel that extended his lead over the man in the blue jersey as Jasper De Boost out-sprinted the Italian and moved himself back up to third overall. Tony Galopin was the next attacker. He followed the attack of Alex Coleman of Canyon DHB. Remy Mertz and John Dibben joined him at the front. But again, the fast pace behind meant that Ben Swift and his cousin Connor went on the attack. The race came back together once again, and it was Dylan van Baarle and Cameron Mayer, the teammate of Matteo Trentin, that went clear. Mayer, the highest placed rider in the general classification at 1 minute and 19 seconds. They went through the first intermediate sprint and followed that up in Brinklow when Van Baarle got the better of Mayer and Bagdonis following them across the line. It was then on to the Skoda King of the Mountains on Frizz Hill with 54.1 kilometres to go. Cameron Mayer getting the better of Van Baarle with Jacob Scott leading the peloton over the summit to take 2 points ahead of his nearest challenger, Dries de Bont. Into peloton priors, and it was Cameron Mayer that led through Dylan van Baarle to take 3 bonus seconds, while behind the Iceberg leader's jersey of Rory Townsend was sprinting it out with Trentin. A frustrated Townsend, though, getting out-sprinted by the Italian. A friendly handshake, though, and another bonus second pulled back for the Mitchelton Scott rider. Sun Rising Hill was the next objective, with gradients of 16 to 18%. Van Baarle led Mayer over the top, while behind John Dibben launched Matt Holmes of Madison Genesis off the front. Holmes was a danger man. He went over the top, took 4 bonus points in the King of the Mountains, but he would then be swept up as they headed towards the Burton Dassett Country Park climb. Van Baarle momentarily distanced Mayer. He went over the top with 2 laps to go, while behind Jacob Scott was making sure of the Skoda King of the Mountains competition, taking another 4 points in that competition. Dylan van Baarle, though, eventually distanced himself from Cameron Mayer, and he would go through the line with 1 lap to go with just over 20 seconds advantage. Over the top, it was his teammate Pavel Sivakov that went on the offensive. He'd gone into the day in third overall. Matthew van der Poel was now alone. No teammates left to help him defend the lead. Gianni Moscon was the next rider to launch an attack, again chased down by van der Poel. Made an Ineos sandwich at the front with Pavel Sivakov latching on behind. A late breakaway group, though, went clear. They swept up Van Baarle. This move was dangerous. It contained James Shaw of Swift Carbon Pro Cycling, Daniel Kanga of EF Education First, Armin Grøndal Jansen of Jumbo-Visma, Ben Swift of Team Ineos, and Zandro Marisa of Wanty Group Gobert. Onto the climb for the final time. The breakaway was just being caught. Swift and Grøndal Jansen were holding a small advantage, but the ominous sign of the green jersey launching his sprint on what is Matthew van der Poel's favoured terrain. Matteo Trentin, though, on this occasion had managed to lock himself onto the wheel of the Dutchman. The finish levelled out. Would it favour the Italian or would it favour the Dutchman? Van der Poel shifted up through the gears. Trentin was poised and ready to make his move. But as the road swept round to the right, Van der Poel glanced the finish and he put the hammer down again. And on this occasion, Matteo Trentin could do nothing. A shake of the head as Matthew van der Poel went clear to take his second victory in this year's OVO Energy Tour of Britain, defending and extending his lead in the general classification. Trentin put his hands wide. He could do nothing to answer the attack of Mathieu van der Poel. The best in the world, you would say, on this sort of finish. Mathieu van der Poel coming through the gap there, past Armand Grøndal Jansen. Trentin did everything that he could, gave his rival a thumbs up. Van der Poel punched the air with delight. Matteo Trentin saying, what more can I do? The effort showing of Mathieu van der Poel, a sporting handshake between the first and second place riders on the general classification. A little wheelie through the ditch for the cyclocross legend. Onto the podium, Mathieu van der Poel takes a victory on stage 7 in Burton Dassett. Confirmation of your top 10. Mathieu van der Poel takes it by 1 second from Matteo Trentin and Simon Clark at 3. Chimolai, Benoit, De Boost, Moscon, Marisa, Sprengers and Grøndal Jansen were your top 10. Mathieu van der Poel with one stage to go in this year's OVO Energy Tour of Britain, looking resplendent in that green leader's jersey. Your top 10 looks like this with one stage to go. Mathieu van der Poel now leads Matteo Trentin by 12 seconds, with Jasper de Boost moving back up to third at 40 seconds. Sivakov, Pollitt, Moscon, Turnison, Amador, Benoit and Grøndal Jansen are your top 10.